David, it's so nice to meet you, and I'm so glad I have a chance to talk to you. I've been a fan for so long, and I don't know, you don't do a lot of interviews for the movies you're in. You tend to have smaller roles, and so I guess so. It's nice to have a movie like this where you have a juicier role. Um, how did Daniel kind of contact you about this, and what was it about Richard that made you want to jump into this?
Well, Daniel sent me this very funny script and asked me to be the patriarch of this Jewish family that lives on the Upper West Side that does Sabbath dinner every Friday night. And I used to live on the Upper West Side when I was starting out as an actor. So I certainly have an affinity for that area, even though it's changed quite a lot in the past 40 years.
Hmm.
But you know, and there was such a great cast of uh, my fellow actors, some of who I knew, but some I didn't know. And I just couldn't turn down that opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, it is a family, and so there's certain actors just have known each other for your entire life. I mean, did Daniel try to get you together earlier to kind of get to know each other and kind of like, especially like Kyra, who plays your wife, obviously, or was it all done in rehearsals or table reads or shooting?
Well, in the independent film world, we usually don't have the luxury of rehearsal time prior to the start of filming. Um, and with everyone's schedules, as I recall, I don't even think we had a table read.
No.
So, but I did know my wife, Kyra Sedgwick, who I did a movie with in 1992
Oh, wow.
called Heart and Souls.
Hmm.
It also starred Robert Downey Jr. back in the day, and we shot that in San Francisco. So I knew Kyra. I've known her for 30 years, and she's just such a wonderful person and so talented, both as an actress and a director. So we kind of, you know, clicked just from the old days kind of thing. And, being shooting in a small kind of, well, it was an Upper West Side apartment for real,
Oh, wow.
but
Yeah.
it was just, but it was a small space for the crew and everyone else. Um, so it gives you kind of a sense of forced intimacy, and that kind of helps the family, that family feel, even though I didn't know all of the other actors as well.
Was it shot fairly quickly? Was it kind of like 15, 20 days in the same place pretty much? Because it is all there except for maybe the exteriors, I'd assume.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was something. Yeah, it was something like 20 days, and yeah, there are uh, shots outside, um, but you're right. The majority was shot in the apartment.
And I mean, was it fun to make this movie? It seems like it is. It would be a lot of fun with all these different kind of actors and a lot of sitting on the table and just the general plot. It seems like it would be something we could have fun doing it.
Yeah, we did. I mean, another thing that Daniel allowed, and that sort of became part of our working method, was improvisation. So, like that, the actual dinner scene, um, a lot of it was scripted, but Daniel would, run the camera and let us sort of ad lib the way a family would around a Sabbath dinner. So that was great.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I realized. I mean, I knew you had directed before, and I knew. I mean, I looked over your resume. I didn't know you directed that much television, which is crazy. Does that help out when you're in a movie like this with a ensemble cast? Do you having that directing background, does it help at all, or you kind of just put that aside and just be an actor?
Well, it does help. It's helped me a lot. I directed like 70 episodic, television shows. Um, and as a director, I was always like, "Come on, let's go, let's move, let's do it." So I I don't know, I guess it made me more immune to like I was not a screaming director. I don't mean to say that, but it made me more immune to like the director, like getting nervous or getting, freaked out about things, and kind of relaxed me as an actor more. So I think that was certainly a positive.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Mr. Saturday Night. I think I actually got to tell Billy this once, but I actually was playing in a band and we found a copy of Mr. Saturday Night on the tour bus. So we were watching that literally while turning around England, and we were
Really?
quoting it to each other whenever we could. It was a great thing, and I was very lucky to see you with Billy on Broadway. I was very It was a huge thrill. Was that something that was it a long time? Was that something you tried to make for a long time and finally happened, or because 30 years
The
was.
Yeah.
uh,
The Broadway show, Billy and Lowell and Babalu, who wrote the original screenplay, um, they'd been at it in work. We did two workshops. I think there was another workshop. Um, it was about 7 years in the making, I think. Mel Brooks told Billy, "You got to make a musical out of Mr. Saturday Night."
hmm.
And thinking of the producers didn't do so bad.
Hmm.
So yeah, so that put the kernel, and Billy thought about it, and but it was like that was back in like 16 or something, so it didn't it even maybe 15, because we didn't get to Broadway till 22. Yeah.
Yeah. Was it tough to kind of get into that kind of thing? I mean, I'm sure you've done Broadway or theater before. I mean, was it tough to kind of get back into that kind of thing? Hate to say it later in life, I guess, is the kind of way of saying it, I guess.
Wait, let me get my walker, Ed. um, um, Actually, no, my very first professional job was in the national touring company of the show Grease.
Hmm.
And I was touring for about 6 months, and they sent me to Broadway, because the Grease was still running on Broadway at the time. And
Mhm.
this was 1977.
Okay.
So um, I made my Broadway debut in 1977, and then I did the show on Broadway for 2 years till 79. And then I went out to LA, and I did movies and television. And then Billy called and said, "Do you want to do this thing on Broadway?" And I said, "Okay." So I was back on Broadway 44 years later. So I bookend my career.
Hmm.
My first job was Broadway. Not my last job was Broadway, but it was kind of a nice feeling to come back to Broadway 40 years later.
Hmm. And didn't play anywhere else, right? It didn't go to LA or anywhere like that for any kind of a short run or anything, or.
No, no, there was discussions about other places,
Hmm.
but not yet.
Hmm. Well, I'm glad I got a chance to see it. So, and it's absolutely pleasure talking to you. I've been a fan for so long, and uh,
Oh, thank you.
wonderful
Um,
film, wonderful cast. I'm talking to John tomorrow, so I'm looking forward to talking to him also. And yeah, hopefully people discover it. It's great to have a Jewish tradition like Shabbos kind of be turned on its ear like this. So,
exactly. Well, thanks so much. I
thanks so
do
much.
appreciate it.
So nice to meet you.
Okay,
Take
man.
care. Thank
All
you.
right. Take care.